You're watching UnrealEntGaming. This is Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. You want to see me turn Super Saiyan? Or should I take it to the next level? I'm also the narrator, too. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, make sure and smash subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
The story of Gogeta vs Vegito takes place following the events of Dragon Ball Super Broly, with the God of Destruction Beerus demanding for a change after seeing Goku spar with Vegeta, and for many years the Dragon Ball fandom had often wondered about which fusion between Gogeta and Vegito was the superior fighter. And although throughout the years we've seen Gogeta and Vegito interact through various different Dragon Ball video games, what if this time they both had the opportunity to actually go toe-to-toe against one another in a fight that lasted until the very end? This is the story of Vegito vs Gogeta, a tale of two of the most powerful fusion warriors facing off to see as to which one of the two is in fact the superior fusion. As once more before we begin, if you are new to this channel and have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball and anime related, then be sure to smash that subscribe button on this channel and turn on all notifications to never miss a single upload, along with giving this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you guys love Dragon Ball and anime, as well as checking out the official Dragon Ball fan mangas playlist located down in the description box below, to where on that playlist you guys will be able to find all the latest and best Dragon Ball fan mangas created by the community for the community. So be sure to head on down below, check out the official Dragon Ball fan mangas playlist for all the best and latest videos on Dragon Ball fan mangas. As we kick off the story of Vegito vs Gogeta, the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Fusion What If manga chapter special, as the narration opens up by letting us know 2 months after Broly on Earth. So the initial events happening right now follow the movie in getting a little bit of an idea as to what happened 2 months after Dragon Ball Super Broly, and only then we get to see how Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta are seemingly sparring on Earth. As the narration continues, Goku and Vegeta train on Earth with Beerus and Whis looking on. And as we go to both Goku and Vegeta, Goku went along to comment, "Very nice, Vegeta, but it looks like you're getting tired," as Vegeta went along to respond, "Yeah, right. Speak as if you know, clown. Allow me to once again prove to you why I am the stronger between the two of us. I've always had the edge over you, and you've always tried to best me but always failed. But now, you'll see why I am the stronger Saiyan between you and I, you clown." And with Vegeta promising victory, Goku went along to respond, "Is that so? Well, I wouldn't have it any other way, Vegeta. Alright then, show me. Because I could say the same thing about my growth as well." So with Goku and Vegeta sparring on Earth, there is an obvious reason as to why they're doing so, and as they begin to exchange punches, with Vegeta having to throw the first haymaker, Vegeta went along to respond, "You've always been desperate." As Goku begins to retaliate, he went along to then respond, "Then why can't you beat me then?" As the two begin to go back and forth, this is a very intense battle with both of them having to go back and forth, and maybe the rules are placed into effect to where they can't go Super Saiyan Blue, according to Whis that is. And as Whis and Beerus begin to oversee everything from a distance, Beerus then went along to comment, "They've been at it for hours like this. It's getting repetitive, Whis. I'm getting very bored. Their fight is just too boring for me. They are fighting evenly this entire time. Hey Whis, is there anything fun to do other than watching them fight? It's painful." As Whis stays quiet, he only then responds, "Even if you asked me, I wouldn't know of anything that would please you now, my lord. Aren't you supposed to be teaching them instead, Beerus?" As Beerus went along to shrug this off, he's getting very frustrated in this idea that Goku and Vegeta, even though they're fighting in the distance, it's boring to him because it's very repetitive and they seem to be fighting equally. And this is something that Beerus doesn't really want to acknowledge, in the fact that it's just something that he doesn't enjoy, because he's even going as far as to ask Whis Whis if there's any other alternative to this boring battle, and as we see Goku and Vegeta finally settle back down, Goku then went along to ask Vegeta, "Looks like you're all out of power, Vegeta? Should I go ahead and end this for you now?" As Vegeta responds, "You wish. You're the one who seems to be trying to catch their breath. But let's end this then, Kakarot." With both of them having to then increase their power, Vegeta only then continues, "I'm done playing games with you," with Goku responding, "Then let's end this, Vegeta." As both Goku and Vegeta go flying towards one another, what I really enjoy here is the fact that I'm getting Majin Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 2 Goku vibes from Dragon Ball Z, because that's the overall attitude that I'm getting from both of them. And right before they end up colliding, Whis gets in between Goku and Vegeta as he went along to tell them, "Okay, you two, it's over. Before you two overdo it and end up destroying the planet, this match between you two is over. At least for now, that is, as ordered by Lord Beerus, of course." And the Saiyans are not happy because Goku went along to ask, "Why are you stopping us, Whis? We're just about to get things started. I knew he had more and so did I." As Vegeta went along to ask, "Is there something?" because both Saiyans seem to be caught off guard in the fact that Whis just came in between them to end this battle right when it was about to pick up. As Beerus went along to acknowledge both Goku and Vegeta, he only then went along to comment, "Hey you idiots, come here right now." And Goku and Vegeta go from Super Saiyan back down to base, and as they approach Beerus, Goku goes on to ask, "What's going on?" As Beerus tells him, "Your fight always seems dull and boring. The two of you always seem to one-up the other, and honestly, it's getting very boring to watch. It's always the same. Show me something different, a different fight. Don't tell me that's the best you two can do together, is it?" As Goku was then stumped, he went along to respond, well, now that you put it that way, I'm not sure how." So Beerus wants to see something different. He wants to see both Goku and Vegeta fight differently. He wants to see a different approach. But Goku has no idea as to what to do next because he's never been put in a situation to where someone told him, "Hey, your fight with Vegeta, it's very boring." As Goku went along to ask, "Did you come up with anything, Vegeta? I'm lost." As Vegeta responds, "No," Goku then went along to question, "Well, what should we do then? We need to do something different from anything we've done before, but what?" And with Goku thinking, out of nowhere, he gets an idea as he went along to shout, "Hey, wait a minute everyone, I've got it! How about we do something that's never been done before? I got the perfect idea! Fusion! A fusion battle between Gogeta and Vegito!" Because out of all the ideas that Goku could have had to entertain Beerus, the best idea that he could have came up with was a showcase between two of the strongest fusions ever to be conceived in Dragon Ball. And with Vegeta overhearing this, he only then went along to comment, "I had him right where I wanted him and they stopped our fight, damn it." Because Vegeta is really upset at the idea that Beerus called for the stoppage of this battle just because he found it to be very boring. And with Goku then having to be shown speaking to Beerus, Beerus then went along to ask, "A fusion battle? Are you serious?" As Goku went along to reply, "Yes! I'm actually upset that I didn't think of this before. This would ultimately decide which fusion warrior is stronger between the two, and I have no doubt it'll be fun. Both fusions are different, and I think it will answer a lot of questions about which fusion form works better." And with Beerus hearing this, he then went along to comment, "A battle between Gogeta and Vegito. I see. This sounds a little too good to be true, but I want to see it, so get going now. Show me how you plan on getting this done then." And with Goku pondering on the idea, he then went along to comment, "Well, there's one small problem though. Who are we going to fight when Vegeta and I do the fusion? If me and Vegeta decide on which fusion to use, who exactly are we going to fight if we fuse? If we fuse into Vegito, then how will we fight Gogeta? And if we fuse into Gogeta, then how will we fight Vegito, Lord Beerus?" As Vegeta went along to then comment, "Hey, wait a second, Kakarot! What did you just say? You bastard! What are you deciding on without asking me? You want to fight a counter fusion? How ridiculous. Out of all things you could have came up with, this one is the stupidest one ever, as Goku turns his head and asking, but why? Vegeta then went along to respond, because it just is. Forget it. I am not fusing with you again. No way. And with Vegeta turning his back, Goku then went along to plead with Vegeta and telling him, hey, please don't be that way, Vegeta. I know you also want to find out which fusion is stronger. And with Vegeta then really not feeling Goku's idea, he only then went along to comment, well, I don't care. If you really want to find out, then you're going to have to fuse with another person. I am not doing this with you. As Goku went along to then tell him, but I can't think of anyone other than you, Vegeta. You're the only person I've ever fused with. Plus, finding other people would be very troublesome to do. We won't be fused forever, Vegeta. It's only for a short amount of time. As Vegeta then went along to respond, you're being very persistent than usual, Kakarot. You know how I feel about fusion. As he then goes on to point at him, he then continues, and I don't even like what you're thinking in the first place. There is no reason for us to fuse. As Goku went along to respond, but it's to find out who is stronger. I had to think about it too, don't complain. And with Vegeta getting angry, he then went along to respond, shut up! I'm saying that I don't want to fuse with you, ever. So stop trying to talk your way out of this, Kakarot. As Goku responds, then why don't you think of something then? And Beerus is getting really annoyed because with Beerus just standing there, all he can overhear is how Vegeta and Goku are just both yelling at each other. As Vegeta went along to respond, because I don't have to. Now shut up. As Goku tells him, you're such a grumpy person, Vegeta. What did you just say? You heard what I said, you stuck-up jerk. And this pisses Beerus off because then he went along to shout, just hurry and do the damn fusion already before I Hakai you both from this reality forever. And Beerus is pissed because this is not what he wanted. He didn't want to be annoyed. He didn't want to be caught up in Goku and Vegeta's ramblings. He just wants to see a fusion fight. And with that being said, it gets eerily quiet before Vegeta went along to respond, damn you all for this. Fine. Come on then, Kakarot, but this will be the last time ever. Now tell me, which fusion are we going to do then? Because I don't have all day to be doing this with you. As Goku then went along to respond, well, that's the issue. I didn't figure that out yet. We don't have the Potara earrings with us, so unless we get them, we can't fuse into Vegito unless we agree to do the dance, but even then, it's tricky. Vegito and Gogeta. Aren't you interested in really finding out which one of these two is the strongest and most effective? As Vegeta went along to respond, no, I don't, because I don't plan on using fusion forever to win. So who are we up with? As Goku responds, well, that's the thing, we need to find other version fighters of us then. As Whis went along to chime in, if that's the case then, and you are looking for other Gokus and Vegetas, then leave it up to me to help you then. Because if anyone's going to help assist Goku and Vegeta in furthering this fusion battle, it's going to be none other than Whis. As Whis only then continues, all I have to do is call out one more of you guys and that should be it, am I right? Such a thing won't be too hard to do. So I hope you're absolutely sure about this, Goku. As Goku went along to reply, yes! Perfect! I am, Whis. It's a good thing that you could do such a thing. I didn't think you could. As Whis then takes his scepter, he then went along to reply, well then, let's see what we can do. 1, 2, 3. As Whis went along to tap his scepter on the ground, out of nowhere there is a blinding white light, and through this Whis went along to comment, out you come, warriors. As lo and behold, two alternative versions of Goku and Vegeta arrive, and with the present Goku and Vegeta looking on, Whis went along to then comment, I think this ought to do it, wouldn't you say? This should do it. And with Goku and Vegeta having to stare off at Goku and Vegeta, the current Goku went along to respond, whoa! He really did bring other versions of us! Vegeta, look! And with the alternate Goku and Vegetas having to turn around, the alternate Goku went along to ask, what in the world? Hey Vegeta, look! I see another me and you! As both versions then went along to speak with each other, the alternate Goku went along to ask, what? Why is there another us? Are you guys even really us? Why are you guys here? What's going on? As the present Goku replies, Whis really did it. Hey, sorry about the confusion. Beerus-sama wanted to see something different, so until he feels better, do you mind helping us? As the alternate Goku went along to ask, oh, I see. So this was Beerus' idea? We don't mind helping you out, but what exactly do you want us to do? There has to be a reason why we're here, right? As the current Goku went along to tell him, well, not entirely his idea, but we need you for something very important. The reason why you're here is because we want to do a fusion battle. And with both Gokus having to be excited, the alternate Goku went along to ask, a fusion battle? That sounds like the best idea ever! With the current Goku stating, right? But of course, just like the present Vegeta, the alternate Vegeta went along to comment, stop messing around, Kakarot! You know better than anyone that I am not fusing with you again. So at the end of the day, despite what version of Vegeta Whis ends up getting, he still refuses to fuse with Goku. As he then went along to comment, there is no way that I'm going to fuse with you again. We've done that enough and I am sick of doing it, Kakarot, so I refuse. As the alternate Goku asks, well, why not, Vegeta? It'll test our powers. As Vegeta responds, because you're an idiot. So with Beerus just standing there and overhearing an alternate Goku and Vegeta continuing to bicker, he's getting very frustrated because he went along to comment, these idiots. Damn them. Cut it out, you morons, and just fuse and fight already or I'll Hakai you. So Beerus is having none of it because the current versions are arguing, the alternate versions are arguing, everyone seems to be arguing, and Beerus just wants to sit back and watch this fight go down. As the two Gokus begin to speak, the current Goku went along to respond, great, so let's decide who'll use the Potara earrings to fuse then. The losers will do the fusion dance. What do you say? Sounds good? As the alternate Goku comments, yeah, let's do it. Rock, paper, scissors, and with the two Gokus trying to decide, the other Vegetas went along to comment, ridiculous. And with the alternate Goku winning, he then went along to comment, yes! This is going to be so much fun! Awesome! So it's decided then. We are going to use the Potara earrings then while you guys use the fusion dance. So the current Goku and Vegeta are going to use the fusion dance and the alternate versions are going to use the Potaras. As Whis ends up spawning Potaras, he then went along to tell the alternate versions, well then, since it's decided, here you both go, take these and place them on your ears to fuse. And with Vegeta really frustrated, he then went along to comment, damn it, I hate you so much. As he finally clips on the earrings alongside Goku, we then observe in the distance how the alternate versions of Goku and Vegeta end up fusing, and with the current versions preparing for the fusion dance, Vegeta went along to comment, hurry it up then, Kakarot, as Goku responds, let's get started then too, Vegeta. I can feel their fusion's power already. This is going to be magical. So here we go, fusion! Ha! As right then and there, the current versions of Goku and Vegeta end up fusing. At the same time, we have the birth of both Gogeta and Vegito on the battlefield. With Gogeta stepping forward, he then went along to comment, so you're Vegito. I've waited for the day where my power would be rivaled. I am neither Goku or Vegeta. We are Gogeta, and I love the overall fact that Gogeta seems to be very, very serious and ready for battle, whereas Vegito looks to be very confident, he looks to be very arrogant in this because as soon as Vegito's born, he went along to comment, so this is Gogeta. This may be more difficult than I imagined it would be, but you're going to find out why I am the most dangerous fusion of them all. Let's do this. Because this is it. This was exactly what Goku was talking about in the idea of finding out which one of these two fusions is the superior fighter, and as Vegito looks on, he only then went along to say to himself, I can sense him analyzing me. I can't remember the last time I was this excited to fight someone. There's something about him that's different. As Gogeta also went along to say to himself, his power is incredibly mind-boggling. I can't waste any time with him. Behind this cocky attitude, he's hiding tremendous power. So both fusions seem to recognize one another's power. As Beerus and Whis look on, Whis then went along to ask Beerus, isn't this very exciting, my lord? You're about to get what you asked for. As Beerus went along to comment, so this is what they call a fusion body. They both look very different compared to one another. Say Whis, since they are one and the same, shouldn't they fight the same? As Whis went along to reply, actually, no my lord, just because they are made up of the same people doesn't mean that their styles are the same. Each was created differently, born from two different fusions. We're about to find out how different they truly are. And with Vegito having to be shown warming up in the background, he only then went along to tell Gogeta, say, You kinda look like our sons when they fuse, only bigger. I hope you aren't as goofy as they are either, as Gogeta went along to reply, you're one to talk, but I'll let you find that out on your own then, since you're curious to know. Come at me with everything you've got. I'm ready. Since you are so sure of yourself, I'll let you have the first move then. If you're stronger, then you shouldn't have a problem putting me down. Now let's get this started, as Vegito went along to reply, big mistake. But alright then, we'll start by warming up first. Before we kick your teeth down your throat, let's see where you stand before we both go all out then, shall we? So initially from the get-go, Gogeta is giving Vegito the leeway to make the first move, and Vegito doesn't seem to be concerned at all because he seems to be taking this more like a joke, as only then Gogeta then continues, I just hope you know, Vegito, that if you don't try and put me down right away, then this will be the end of you as this fight continues. You only have one shot at this, basically telling Vegito, hey look, if you don't take the time to finish me off right now, then you are screwed as this fight continues. And with Vegito stepping forward, he only then went along to ask, is that so? With Gogeta replying without question, as only then Vegito quickly moves in his attempts of kicking Gogeta directly in the face, but with Gogeta being fast enough, he went along to move out of the way, as Vegito went along to comment, very impressive there. Most of my enemies don't even see my attacks coming. How exciting! So Vegito basically conceded to the idea that Gogeta is fast enough to keep up with his own moves. As Vegito attempted to strike Gogeta again, he only then went along to comment, oh yeah, you're a lot faster than I gave you credit for. But running away gets boring very quickly, as only then Gogeta attempts to strike Vegito. Vegito is the one then that steps out of the way and commenting, oh, you're very fast, but you can't keep up with my speed. As Vegito attempts to strike Gogeta and vice versa, Vegito went along to then comment, I want to see more of your power. As Gogeta replies, then stop playing around and show me. So in base form, it would appear that both of them are kind of equal because Gogeta can't seem to touch Vegito, and Vegito can't seem to touch Gogeta. So early on in this fight, even though this is somewhat of a sparring contest, they seem to come off very even as Vegito ends up getting behind Gogeta. Vegito then went along to comment, in time then, but take this, as Gogeta went along to respond, time isn't on our side, Vegito. But Vegito doesn't care because what he ends up doing is firing an energy blast directly at Gogeta, as he went along to then tell him, you might want to pay attention instead. And with the attack having to head right towards Gogeta, Gogeta went along to comment, his attack is sharp, before taking the hit head on. This fight from the beginning is very basic because they both seem to be gauging one another, as of course the dust ends up settling. Vegito only then went along to ask, now where are you? As Gogeta pops out of nowhere in his attempts to strike Vegito, Vegito only then after countering Gogeta's kick went along to comment, there you are. That was a great counter because they both seem to acknowledge one another's attacks. They both seem to acknowledge the fact that they're both strong and they're both very resilient in their own little way. With both of them then having to step back, Gogeta went along to then tell Vegito, you're very persistent, Vegito, I'll give you that. As Vegito went along to respond, it looks like we're even then. That was interesting, but I guess it's time for us to turn up the heat. I guess base form is enough, so how about we turn it up a gear and see where we stand after we transform then, insinuating the idea that Vegito wants to turn it up to Super Saiyan, as Gogeta went along to respond, fighting with you like this is a waste of time. It's going to continue to drag on unless we get serious, so let's cut to the chase then. Show me what you can do after you transform, Vegito. As they both agree in having to state by all means, what ends up happening then is both Gogeta and Vegito end up transforming into their Super Saiyan states prior to using anything beyond Super Saiyan. So it would appear that they're both taking traits from Goku and Vegeta in gradually having to gauge each other from base form into Super Saiyan and then assumingly into something else once this battle does of course intensify. And with both of them having to stare at each other intensely, Beerus and Whis are watching as Beerus went along to comment, this is getting interesting. Say Whis, I need you to tell me something about them. As Whis went along to respond, yes my lord, only then Beerus goes on to ask him, the ones who battled against Zamasu in the future, was that the warrior with the Potara earrings? I know you've seen one of them in action before, so it strikes me as very odd. Have you ever seen the one using the Potaras in action before? As Whis went along to then tell him, indeed, the one who fought in the future was the one using the Potaras, but I never was able to see them fight Zamasu in the future. But from what I have heard from the Kais, their powers are immeasurable. However, as for the other fusion, I was there to see them fight with a Saiyan named Broly-san. At the time, they were able to easily defeat Broly with ease, and they come off more as a serious fighter from what I've seen. This isn't their full power, but more of a sample of it. They are truly a force to be reckoned with, so it's not fair to compare, but I've seen Gogeta in action. As Beerus then went along to reply, I see. So this is fun. From what you say, these two are much better than Goku and Vegeta. As Whis went along to respond, well, it is them fused into one after all, my lord, ho ho, with Beerus then staring off into the distance and commenting, such an interesting dynamic with these two. So Beerus has an interest now in investing himself in these fusions because he knows that they're both strong, and he knows from what he has heard that both of these fusions have something to offer, and he's dying to find out what it is. As only then back with the fusions, Vegito ends up stepping up to Gogeta and having to tell him, well then, I wonder how high you can go. As they both end up getting face to face, Vegito then continues, since I made the first move, now I'll let you go. So show me what you can do, tough guy. As Gogeta went along to respond, I see. Well then, let's not waste any time. And with both of them staring each other down very intensely, Vegito only then went along to tell Gogeta, go on. I'm ready. As Gogeta responds, me too. In literally only then blinking Vegito away, we only then get to see how Gogeta literally didn't even move his body, but simply blitzed Vegito with his eyes in sending him flying out into the distance. But this really doesn't mean that Vegito isn't trying to do the best that he can to save himself in this battle, because as they're just about to clash, Vegito then further went along to provoke Gogeta in telling him, let's see how powerful your fusion truly is. Make your move, because Vegito really wants to see what Gogeta can do, given the fact that he's giving him the opportunity to make the first move, and that's exactly what Gogeta ended up doing, because he ended up blitzing Vegito so far out into the distance. As we get to see Vegito flying back, he then went along to comment, how did he just do that? He didn't even move! And with Vegito breaking his fall, he only then continued, damn it, that was a powerful move. His glare had tremendous force, acknowledging the fact that Gogeta didn't even have to move his body to further make it known to Vegito that he means business and that he's not playing any games. And Vegito now takes notice of this, because as he ends up breaking his fall, he only then went along to comment, that was close. I wasn't expecting for him to have tricks like this up his sleeve. I gotta be more careful around him. He's hiding a lot of power. And as Vegito ends up standing up, he only then continues, I can't believe you're still on your feet thinking you're in control. Well then, now that I got a taste of what you can do, it's time to show you what I'm capable of. Don't get ahead of yourself. A simple force push won't do anything but piss me off, and that's exactly what you've done. You've made your move, and now it's my turn to respond. Let's go! Here I come, Gogeta! And with Vegito raising his battle power up so much so, what he ends up doing then is dashing towards Gogeta's direction, because Gogeta is coming right for him. So Vegito knows this, and he knows that the only thing Gogeta had done at this current point in time is simply piss Vegito off, because he knows that with Gogeta hiding so much power within him, he's not willing to take any chances, because he knows that he has to finish this as quickly as he can. And what ends up following is both Vegito and Gogeta are shown charging towards one another's direction, as Vegito went along to comment, he's closing in fast, as Gogeta also replies, he doesn't stand a chance. But then, what Vegito ends up doing is placing his fingers on his forehead and getting ready to use instant transmission. As he goes on to smirk, he only then went along to comment, I got you right where I want you. And with the two looking like they're just about to collide, what Vegito ends up doing is using instant transmission to get behind Gogeta, who, mind you, is flying towards Vegito's direction at an exponential speed. And with Gogeta being caught off guard and not realizing realizing what the heck is going on, Vegito then winds his leg back as he went along to tell Gogeta, "Looking for someone? You should have been paying better attention." As Vegito then proceeds to kick Gogeta down with such force, he only then went along to tell him, "I owe you something in return for your attack." And Vegito ends up kicking Gogeta so hard down onto the ground that it literally creates shockwaves all throughout the landscape, and the second Vegito comes back down onto the ground, he only then went along to comment, "A clean shot." Now let's follow up and finish this. And with Vegito charging right in, he knows that Gogeta in some kind of way is stalling for time, because Vegito went along to comment, "He's stalling. I have to end this quickly." And with Vegito moving in, out of nowhere, there is a massive blast that is coming right towards his direction, as Vegito also commented, "There he is. What an attack!" But that won't work on me. As Vegito quickly deflects the attack back behind him, there is a massive explosion that follows, and with Vegito standing there, he only then went along to tell Gogeta, "If this is the best you can do, then you are surely selling yourself short. It's obvious on who the better fusion is, but if you insist that you can beat me, then I'll give you another freebie. Take your best shot," because now what Vegito is doing is not only throwing in more fuel into the fire and taunting Gogeta and telling him, "Hey, I'm the better fusion, but if you believe otherwise, then I'm going to give you another freebie just to see if you can actually prove me wrong." And with Vegito acknowledging the fact that Gogeta took the bait, he only then commented, "There you are," because there are multiple energy blasts that are beginning to scour from different directions. As Vegito then remains as cognitive as he can, he then went along to comment, "More than one this time? Alright then, allow me to school you some more then, shall we?" And Vegito ends up countering all of these attacks and basically making everything look like child's play, because what Vegito truly believes here is the fact that he thinks that Gogeta has no chance in actually surviving this fight, but then Gogeta ends up actually teleporting behind Vegito, as Vegito went along to then tell Gogeta, "Maybe you wasn't hearing me clearly enough when I said that your little tricks aren't going to work on me, Gogeta. What you fail to understand is that my senses aren't just enhanced tenfold, but my awareness of what's around me also is too. Just because I can't see you doesn't mean I can't feel what you're about to do. Now allow me to show you why you're the weaker fusion." With Gogeta trying his absolute best to catch Vegito from behind and kicking him in the spine, what Vegito ends up doing is quickly moving out of the way and thus later grabbing Gogeta by the leg and telling him, "Gotcha!" Because realistically, as cocky, as overconfident, as arrogant as Vegito is, he's not stupid, as Gogeta then went along to question how did he do that, with Vegito then telling him, "Buckle up, let me take you for a ride." As he quickly ends up dragging Gogeta down, Vegito then with such force went along to drag Gogeta's body down onto the ground and telling him, "If there's one thing I'm better at than you, is that I expose my opponents for the frauds they are before I break their spirits and destroy their pride, and you're going to be no different." And I love this idea because the second we get to see how Vegito tosses Gogeta away and commenting, "Away with you," the overall narrative here is that Vegito went from cocky to overly arrogant in this narrative that he thinks that Gogeta really doesn't have a chance, and although they've only fought in base form and Super Saiyan, it would only appear that right now Vegito does have the upper hand. And as we get to see Gogeta literally crashing through mountains, he's flying all throughout the landscape and hitting everything that he comes across, what Vegito ends up doing is quickly catching up to Gogeta and getting behind him, and right as we get to see how Vegito is just about to elbow Gogeta, he then went along to tell him, "And now to put your fusion out of its misery for good." It was fun while it lasted, but then the second we see Vegito attempt to haymaker Gogeta into the dirt, Gogeta immediately responds by moving out of the way, as Vegito questions what the, as Gogeta follows, "Oh no you don't. This battle is far from over, so don't assume victory just yet." And right as Gogeta closes in with an elbow shot of his own, in literally having to connect with a bone-rattling shot to Vegito's ribs, Gogeta only then went along to tell him, "Let me pay you back for that little stunt you just tried to pull on me." And Vegito's mind is blown away because he only then went along to ask himself, "But how? Where did he get this power all of a sudden? His hits are sharper than they were just a minute ago. I didn't even see that attack coming, because this really caught Vegito by surprise, as meanwhile back with Beerus and Whis, Beerus went along to comment, "These fusion warriors are very interesting, Whis. They both have their own unique ways of handling a situation. One is brash while the other isn't. They're both also holding back tremendous amounts of power as well. It almost feels like they're both toying with one another. Say, Whis, at what point will we see these Saiyans use their full power to kill each other with? I want to know which one of them can outlast the other. I don't have all day to sit around and just waste." Basically implying the fact that Beerus wants to see these two actually fight to kill, as Whis went along to respond, well, they're both starting to realize that the other isn't someone to overlook, so in order for them to both go all out, they'd have to agree that there isn't any other choice but to use everything they have. In which case they will. They are both starting to see that their current powers isn't going to be enough to win, which will force them to both go all out at some point, but it will happen. As Beerus went along to ask, "And what about their time?" As Whis asks what of it, Beerus then continues, "Shouldn't one have more time to fight than the other? For gods, fusion can last forever, but not for mortals, so which one is shorter on time then, Whis? It would be a shame if one were to defuse before going all out against the other, so which one of them will be the first to split then?" As Whis replies, "None, my lord. Without them knowing, I secretly made it to where they both have equal time in this fight." As Beerus replies, "I see. So this means they can fight to their heart's content without burning out then, isn't that right?" As Whis remains quiet, Beerus only then continues, "Now this should be good. Go on then, warriors. Show me more of your powers." Beerus then went along to comment, "Vegito is getting a little out of hand with his attitude, Whis. This Gogeta fusion really got him good with that one. I like it." As Whis went along to reply, "Certainly, my lord, but I wouldn't count Vegito out just yet." It was almost as if he wanted to take his hit, implying the fact that perhaps maybe it was Whis' intuition to see that Vegito wanted to take Gogeta's shot just to see how strong he is, but only then, as we go back to them fighting, Gogeta ends up kicking Vegito with such force across the face, as he went along to then tell him, "I told you this wasn't going to be easy, Vegito. Take this!" And with Gogeta then clocking Vegito with such force as he ends up falling down onto the ground, Gogeta only then went along to tell him, "I know you felt that one just as much as I did delivering it to you. You're extremely careless, and that's why you're on the floor." And with Gogeta then sticking his hand out, he only then went along to tell him, "Here, let's see you run your mouth after this one." As he charges up for a massive blast, he only then tells him, "You better act fast, because Gogeta isn't playing any games. He's taking this Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn attitude to where he's been extremely serious throughout the entire course of this battle, and Vegito was taking more or less of a Dragon Ball Z fight with Buhan kind of approach to where he's arrogant, he's cocky, but at the same time, he's slowly beginning to come into his own in taking the fight a lot more serious than how he has. And with Gogeta firing this massive energy blast directly down at Vegito, Vegito only then stares up and having to comment, "What a massive attack! If I don't do something about that blast, it could destroy the entire solar system." But he knows this, so he's testing my reaction time. Crap! I have to end this before things really get carried away. It's time I start showing off my true powers. And as this massive blast ends up hitting Vegito, what ends up following is that this blast ends up going right through the earth itself, because it was created and fired down with such force that with the blast having to now head into outer space, Whis then went along to tell Beerus, "My word, my lord, that was close." And with Whis and Beerus looking on, Beerus then went along to comment, "These idiots are getting really out of hand, fools. Are they really planning to destroy the entire Earth to prove who the strongest fusion is? How stupid." And as we go back to Gogeta, he is only then overseeing this massive crater in the Earth itself, as he only then went along to comment, "That's what you get for running your mouth. You really just got lucky with that one just now." And with Gogeta staring back down, he only then continues, "I know you're alive down there. I can feel your energy growing. Was that a bit too overwhelming for you? Why don't you just come out and stop stalling for time? We don't have all day, so let's finish this. And Gogeta is really trying to call out Vegito for his bluff because he knows that Vegito really isn't hurt. Vegito isn't in any real danger. He's only trying to further gauge him and test him to see where he stands, as moments later there is a massive energy blast shown coming down up from the earth as Gogeta went along to comment took you long enough, and through this we get to observe how there is a massive explosion that happens, and from the ground up we then observe how Vegito ends up flying right through as Gogeta went along to comment his power tripled just now. So it's like that then, huh? So Gogeta acknowledges the fact that Vegito not only increased in power, but he survived, and he survived effortlessly in the idea that Vegito is hiding so much power that he's making Gogeta's attacks look like nothing, and as Vegito emerges, he only then went along to comment, "That was a close one. I gotta give you credit on that one. You surprised me with that little move of yours. If I wasn't paying attention, one wrong step and I would have been done for. You're a sneaky one, Gogeta, but thankfully I was prepared for your attack. Piece of cake." As Gogeta went along to reply, "So, you used the barrier, I see. Smart move." As Vegito went along to reply, "You're not bad, Gogeta. You're actually more impressive than I gave you credit for. So now I know this isn't going to be as easy as I thought. Since we are even as Super Saiyans as well, or at least close to it, then how about we turn it up a level or two and find out if we're still even as we transform higher than what we are right now. So how about it then? Should we go up a few, or do you still want to fight as boring Super Saiyans then? Your call, because Vegito is insinuating that Super Saiyan is only getting stale because they seem to be fighting on an equal level, as Gogeta then went along to respond, "So you want to go up even more then? Sounds good. How about this time we add more power behind our attacks? No holding back, because now if they both agree in going up even higher, then it's also agreed upon that they're both going to be adding more power to their attacks that makes them that much more effective in this battle. And up until now, base form and Super Saiyan, one can argue that these two are both the same, but it's also implied that as they continuously get stronger, perhaps maybe this tide is going to shift in someone's favor, given the fact that someone is going to have the edge over the other." And with Vegito having to reply, he only then went along to tell Gogeta, "Just you wait and see what I have in store for you then. You won't be able to dance your way out of this one." As both of them get into power up position, they both go on to cry out, "Now this is our power beyond the Super Saiyan." So you can only imagine what it would actually be like for these two to go one-on-one, and only to find out that they're essentially even, right? At least in base form and Super Saiyan. So with that being acknowledged, they want to turn it up even more just to see where they stand, because they both firmly agree on this narrative that one is definitely stronger than the other, as they both end up raising their power levels up so much so over out in the distance, both Goten and Trunks actually end up stopping in their tracks, as Trunks went along to comment, "Goten, stop! Did you feel that? There's a huge power out there somewhere. I think it's actually more than one. It actually feels like my dad's, and your dad's as well, but it's hard to say because it's like two of our dads at the same time." As Goten went along to reply, "Hey, you're right, Trunks. I feel it too. Let's go check it out. Our dads could be fighting someone strong." As Trunks went along to reply, "I think they are. Hurry, Goten. We gotta go out there and see what's going on before it's over. We can't waste any time." So with Goten and Trunks actually going out there to find out what the heck is going on, little do they know that there are two alternate versions of their fathers fused into one, waging battle over out in the distance. And what's even more interesting is once Goten and Trunks actually end up arriving, Beerus then turns his head and acknowledging them and commenting, "Ah, it's the sons of the Saiyans." As both Goten and Trunks then greet Beerus and Whis by telling them, "Hello Beerus-sama, and you too Whis-sama," with Whis having to state, "Ah yes, it's Goten and Trunks. I thought I felt your ki headed this way." And with Goten then approaching Beerus, he only then went along to ask him, "What are you doing here?" As Beerus responds, "It's none of your business, but you'll know once you see what's happening." And with both the boys confused, they end up looking up and seeing two people power up, as Trunks went along to ask, "Hey Goten, look, who are those people?" With Goten replying, "I really don't know," with Whis having to then tell them, "Oh my, you really don't recognize them? That's strange. Their power feels similar to your father's, does it not? That should be a dead giveaway. Those two are the forms of both of your fathers from two different timelines fused into one using different fusions. One with the dance and the other with the Potaras fighting. As Goten and Trunks are left flabbergasted, they only then went along to comment, "Our dads?" Because Goten and Trunks can't seem to believe that there are two different versions of their dads fighting in the sky using two different forms of fusion, and with Trunks having to look at Whis, he only then went along to ask him, "Hey, so which one is my dad?" As Whis replies, "Well, they're both your dad. If I recall, they did say something about using the fusion dance, so that's them from this time." As Trunks responds, "I can't believe it. Potara versus fusion dance. Goten, this is so cool! The coolest ever!" As Goten responds, "I know! They're both so strong! This is so cool! Go, 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 go! Don't give up, you two!" And with Beerus getting so irritated on the idea that these two keep making so much noise on the side, he only then went along to shout, "Would you just shut up and let me watch this damn fight? You all talk too much here." As they both go on to comment, "Sorry, Beerus." We only then go back to the fusions, with Gogeta having to intensely stare down Vegito. He only then went along to say to himself, "You are incredibly persistent, but now I see. There can only be one, and in order for there to be one, it's time to let the chains loose. Show me what you can do. I'll match you," because now we've come to the understanding that Gogeta and Vegito know that this isn't going to be easy. As much as one would like to believe that this fight is in the bag, it's really not. And once we end up seeing both Vegito and Gogeta transform, what they end up doing is transforming into Super Saiyan 2, as Vegito went along to tell Gogeta, "Do you think your Super Saiyan 2 form is stronger than mine? I must have hit you a little too hard in the head if you believe that," basically telling Gogeta, "Look, no matter how high you go, my form, or at least in this case Super Saiyan 2, is a lot stronger than yours." As Gogeta went along to respond, "It should be more than enough to finish you off, but if you think you can handle the pressure, then by all means come at me." And Vegito wastes little time in sticking his hand out directly in front of Gogeta, as he only then responded by telling him, "We'll see. I'll have you know that I owe you a favor for that last blast you fired at me earlier. The only difference is, this attack is a lot stronger. Think you can handle it? If you do, then you should have no problem putting this to rest." So now Gogeta, as Vegito begins to pour energy into this attack, he only then continues, "Let's see how tough you really are then." So now it's come down to a Super Saiyan 2 showcase, because before, it would only be implied that both base form Vegito and Gogeta, along with Super Saiyan, are basically the same, but here, it's implied differently, that one is definitely stronger than the other. And with Vegito firing this massive attack at Gogeta, he only then went along to tell him, "This one's for you, tough guy," but Gogeta quickly moves out of the way. With Vegito catching on to this, he only then continues, "I knew you'd run. You won't run from this one." As Vegito ends up chasing Gogeta, what I really appreciate here is that throughout this entire story, we've seen how both fusions were able to counter one another's attack, and with Vegito charging on in, he only then went along to tell Gogeta, "Let me show you why we aren't the same, Gogeta." As they end up clashing, Vegito then went along to say to himself, "Gogeta's a great defensive warrior. He's plotting." And with Gogeta having to do the same thing, he only then went along to say to himself, "Vegito's energy is growing. He's a very dangerous opponent, without question. His hits are getting heavier and sharper," basically acknowledging the fact that both fighters have a very interesting and unique fighting style, in one having to be very defensive, while the other one seems to be a great offensive fighter. And as the two begin to go back and forth, Vegito then went along to tell Gogeta, "What happened? I thought you were the stronger fusion, Gogeta. You seem a little unsure of yourself. I told you that my Super Saiyan 2 form is stronger than yours." As Gogeta went along to reply, "Don't get ahead of yourself, Potara warrior. I'm far from done." And as the two continue to go back and forth in a really intense battle, Beerus then only goes on to comment, "These fusion warriors are a lot more entertaining than Goku and Vegeta were. I don't care who wins, I just want to watch them beat each other to death until one loses, Whis." So in a nutshell, this was all because of Beerus. Beerus wanted to call forth for some something different, and being the fact that Goku had suggested fusion, this is the outcome. Super Saiyan 2 Vegito throwing hands against Super Saiyan 2 Gogeta, and with Vegito having to be shown trying to kick Gogeta with Gogeta moving out of the way, Vegito only then went along to comment, being on guard won't win you the battle, you know. If you don't fight back, then you're screwed. And as of course he ends up trying to kick Gogeta again, Gogeta then went along to say to himself he's increasing his power with each strike. Now I see. This form won't last another 15 minutes if this continues. His form is strong, but if I don't take action soon, then this battle will be in his favor. I think I know what I have to do now. It's pointless to play this game of cat and mouse. He'll only continue to match me, so in order for me to finish this, then I'm going to have to show him the full extent of my power in order for this to be over. So Gogeta kind of acknowledges the fact that Vegito here seems to be increasing his power with each strike that he delivers, and Gogeta knows that in order for this fight to be in his favor, he's going to have to finish this as quickly as possible because Super Saiyan 2 is taking a lot out of his transformation, and if this fight ends up continuing, then it's ultimately going to favor Vegito as Gogeta ends up blasting Vegito back. He only then went along to say to himself, I guess his form is slightly stronger than this. If this keeps going, then my fusion will be done first. I'm surprised he was able to endure the things I threw at him. I guess this leaves me with no other choice. He has my respect for keeping up. And with Vegito showing signs of being very persistent in this battle, Gogeta only then went along to continue, but now it's time to end this game for good. I guess I have to put it all into this. And as Vegito approaches Gogeta, he quickly notices that Gogeta is about to make a huge change as Vegito went along to comment, could it be? Because he knows what's about to happen as only then Gogeta finally reveals Super Saiyan Blue, and as Gogeta ends up transforming, he then went along to tell Vegito this is where it all comes to an end. There is no coming back after this. And as he then sticks his hand out, he only then continues, now, let's see you survive this one, Vegito, because now rather than transforming into Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan God, what Gogeta ended up doing was skipping all of that and immediately went into full power by unleashing Super Saiyan Blue. As he only then sticks his hand out, he went along to then cry out, Big Bang Attack! So Gogeta ends up firing this massive Super Saiyan Blue Big Bang Attack directly at Vegito, with tremendous amounts of force behind it. With Vegito then having to catch on, he only then went along to comment, so, he's looking to end it then, huh? I was waiting for him to do this. My turn, as only then Vegito ends up using Super Saiyan Blue by also maxing out his power, as he only then continues, you think I don't know what this is? Think it's stronger than any of my attacks? No? Let me show you then and prove you wrong. As Vegito ends up countering Gogeta's Big Bang attack with a massive Kamehameha of his own, he only then proceeded to fire this massive Kamehameha in telling Gogeta, here goes! And with Vegito's Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha proving to overpower Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta's Big Bang attack, with the Kamehameha heading right towards Gogeta, he only then went along to acknowledge this by commenting, very impressive, because Gogeta knows that it's very rare to find someone to match him in battle, but as Gogeta quickly charges on in, he then went along to tell Vegito, but just like your last attack, it's too slow. As he ends up coming right behind Vegito, he only then continues, I told you, there's no coming back from this one. As Vegito quickly tries to turn around, he only then comments, not again, because what follows is Gogeta ends up kicking Vegito so hard out into the distance, as he only then continues, as strong as you are, there's no way you can beat me now. And with the two going at it and creating massive explosions out into the distance, Beerus then went along to comment, they'll destroy the entire universe at this rate if they aren't careful with what they do, Whis. But I love it because Beerus is enjoying this. Remember, this was all Beerus' idea from the get-go, and with a massive explosion seen out in the distance, Whis only then chimed in and commenting, I think they are both well aware of that, my lord. In the event of something were to happen, I could turn back time and stop them from doing so. Now, Whis is further reassuring Beerus that if something were to happen to where the galaxy is destroyed, the universe is destroyed based on this one battle alone, then he could easily turn back time and prevent this from happening. As only then Beerus went along to continue, I wasn't expecting for these Saiyans to have the power they have. They have most definitely come a very long way. It's hard to say which one of them is better. With all Goku and Vegeta have been through, I expect nothing less of their fusion. Their power is very dangerously close to mine. It would be hard to tell if I were to battle either one of them, but I like it. I wanted them to entertain me, and now it's got me thinking. As powerful as they are, maybe one day I will find out myself, or maybe even after this battle is over. This was a very good idea, I have to give Goku credit, but I'm still stronger than both of them. But let's see if that changes. I've waited many generations for a mortal to rival my power. If Ultra Instinct can't be done, then this will do just fine then. Although I want them to hurry up and end this, at the same time, I don't. Only because they are very into this battle, especially now that they both went Super Saiyan Blue. They can't fight forever, but if they could, then it would be never ending. However, when going back to the boys who are actually with Beerus and Whis, Trunks then went along to comment, "Hey Goten, we should also try using the Potara earrings one day too. Gotenks is cool and all, but do you think a Potara fusion of us would be even better?" As Goten went along to reply, "You bet, Trunks, but where would we find a pair of those weird earrings anyway?" I know, maybe our moms might have some. They're always wearing them anyways, not knowing the fact that they're not very well educated as to what the Potaras are, because they believe that by putting on any pair of earrings would grant them the ability to fuse into a different warrior. As we only then go back to Vegito and Gogeta, Super Saiyan Blue Vegito is then shown having to break his fall on the ground as he went along to comment, "Lucky shot. It's all he's been doing this entire time anyways." And as Vegito looks up, he is only met by a barrage of energy blast having to rain down upon him as he went along to cry out, "Whoa! What the?" And with Vegito quickly having to dash out of the way, he only then continues, "He certainly has a knack for keeping me on my toes, but he's going to have to try a little harder than that to beat me." Now where is he? And as Vegito is shown having to escape all of these blasts raining down from the sky, with Vegito then acknowledging the fact that he found where Gogeta was, he only then went along to acknowledge this by commenting, "There you are." But with Vegito then closing in, we only observe how Gogeta seems to be standing in one spot, really not moving, until only then we find out why, and that is because Gogeta is standing in a very familiar pose as he is beginning to pour his energy into a very familiar attack, as Gogeta went along to tell Vegito, "Every impact you create has an echo. Your arrogance and overconfidence will be your ultimate undoing. If you survive this, then you are truly a gift. Your ultimate test lies right here in my hand." And with Gogeta being shown having to pour a lot of his energy into this attack, he only then goes on to comment, "A reflection of my power. Stardust Breaker!" As Gogeta fires this attack out into the distance, Vegito is left floored. As he only then grounds himself from approaching Gogeta any further, Vegito only then went along to continue, "What in the world is that? What frightening power! I should have known he was baiting me for an attack like this. Well, come on, I'm not backing down. I'll take everything you can throw at me and still come back for more. This isn't the last you've seen of me, Gogeta. Bring your attack on." And as the Stardust Breaker makes contact, there is a massive explosion seen out in the distance, just as we've seen very similarly done in Dragon Ball Super Broly after Gogeta had done the same thing to Broly. Gogeta is only then left standing there in anticipating what's about to happen next, as he only then went along to comment, "A direct hit." And as the dust and smoke begin to settle, Gogeta is on the fence on whether or not this attack actually worked or not, because for the time being there is no sign of Vegito at all. And Gogeta is standing in silence because he's anticipating to find out what's about to happen next, as moments later Vegito finally steps through the smoke, as he only then went along to tell Gogeta, "You know, that one actually hurt. It really hurt, so I'll give you credit on that. It surely works as a counterattack with a ton of power behind it, but I'm not quite finished with you just yet. There's more. You may have hurt me, but you also sold yourself short on thinking that it could be enough to destroy me. Now I see why you're as strong as you are, but I think it's my turn to pay you back." As Gogeta went along to reply, "I was able to overhear Whis when he said he was able to extend our fusion time, but if you're planning on showing me your full power, then hurry up. I don't have much time left until we defuse, so if you're going to act on something, then this is your only chance. This next encounter will be our last, because I'm ending this in one shot. Now go," basically telling Vegito, "Listen, If this continues, then I'm going to defuse, and I don't have all the time in the world to be doing this, so if you're going to act on something, then this is your only chance to do so. As Vegito went along to reply, since you put it that way, I guess I'll show you. Consider yourself lucky to see this power. Now, Kaio-ken times 20! In harkening back to the time when Vegito originally used his Kaio-ken against Cumber, because we've never seen Vegito really use Kaio-ken in Dragon Ball Super, so this is the first time outside of Super Dragon Ball Heroes that Vegito is showcasing this power. And as Vegito continuously begins to raise his power level up even more, he only then went along to shout full power! And after Kaio-ken is initially completed, Vegito went along to tell Gogeta, you're not the only one who's short on time here, but since Whis gave us even time, with this increase, I'm bound to be the first to defuse, basically acknowledging the full extent of what Kaio-ken can do to the body, in having to thus fully tax the host as they continuously increase in the Kaio-ken level. As he only then continues, I would say that I have a whole 30 minutes on you, but at this point, I'm leaving it all on the table to beat you. Wasn't expecting this now, were you? Go on though, I know what you're probably thinking to yourself then. Why don't you evolve too? Into that evolved form of blue so we can truly go all out. I take it you can do that then, can you? So do it. Then there's no complaining, right? I hope you know that this is our last chance to use everything. So Vegito is calling out Gogeta in also doing something similar in transforming into Super Saiyan Blue evolution, because since one of them is going to max out Kaio-ken, then the other might as well also do the same in doing what Vegeta did during the Tournament of Power and evolving Super Saiyan Blue that much more. As Gogeta went along to respond, your power is beyond anything I faced off against before, but if you insist, then I'll evolve myself too. So here then, as Gogeta ends up transforming into Super Saiyan Blue evolution, he only then continues, this is the evolution of Super Saiyan Blue. So now, we're even. However, just like before, you are getting extremely cocky with your attitude, Vegito. Surely you're strong, but your personality is childish. But if this is it, then let's do it. As Vegito went along to respond, yeah, let's stop the talking then and finish this once and for all. I don't have forever, but if I did, then I'd be kicking you around forever. I hope you know what's about to happen, so let's see what you got. As both of them then begin to pour out more of their energy in raising their power level up even more, Trunks and Goten only then comment in the background, wow, Trunks, our dads have the greatest power in the entire multiverse. As Trunks went along to respond, we need to learn that and have Gotenks use those power-ups one day, Goten, which the boys really have no clue on what the heck is going on until only then Vegito ends up charging directly at Gogeta and telling him, if you die from this, then it's on you, Fusion. Your body is not ready for the pain you're about to feel. In being very confident in his own abilities to put Gogeta down, and with Gogeta doing the same in charging directly at Vegito, he only then went along to tell him, everything we've been through has brought us here. Our power can never be extinguished. With both fusions now having to take their positions as serious as they possibly could, they only end up clashing out over in the distance, as Whis went along to then comment, oh my, it seems as if not only the entire planet is shaking, but the entire universe as well, my lord. And with Gogeta and Vegito really now beginning to sink their teeth into one another, Beerus only then went along to respond, these fusion warriors are truly outstanding. I haven't seen a great fight like this since the Tournament of Power. I didn't know that these fusion warriors can retain the power increases that Goku and Vegeta could do on their own. This is so fun, Whis. So at the end of the day, the real winner of this fight is Beerus, because this is what Beerus wanted ever since the beginning, and now that he's getting exactly what he wants, he's finding great entertainment and joy in watching this go down, as Beerus only then continues, how long until one burns out first, Whis? As Whis went along to respond, not sure, my lord, but it seems the match is about to be over very soon. How amazing, as Beerus responds, I wonder if that Kaio-ken technique will break Vegito's body. It's a very big increase in power, but if this keeps going, won't Vegito be at a disadvantage over Gogeta if this power increase fails him? And Evolution Blue? As Whis responds, both increases can take a toll on one's body without a doubt, but at this pace we are yet to fully know. But both boosts aren't going to last forever. It's strange, however, I feel something more within them both. They are truly gifts to our universe. Both know what's on the line and both want to prove themselves to the other. But this is just about to draw itself out very shortly. And I will say, I think one of the two is about to outshine the other, but who will it be? Because Whis genuinely has a feeling that something more is about to happen. As we go back to Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Vegito, he only then goes on to comment, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken versus Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, huh? Should determine which power boost is the stronger increase then. Let's see if you can handle me at my absolute best. So once again, Vegito's arrogance is coming into play here, but is it for the right reasons, and does he have an ace up his sleeve that allows him to feel this way, especially when knowing the fact that Gogeta had now also increased his power as well, and with Vegito literally not wasting any time, the first thing he ends up doing is going right for the kill as he attempts to kick Gogeta, but with Gogeta being cognitive enough and blocking off his attack, he only then went along to tell Vegito, your Kaioken stun won't last forever, so don't get ahead of yourself and think that you can defeat me so easily. And with Gogeta once more having to be shown blocking off Vegito's attacks, Vegito only then went along to continue, you sure about that? Because you're struggling to hold off my attacks, Gogeta. And with Evolution Gogeta having to be shown trying to hit Vegito, Vegito only then quickly ducks under his attacks as he only then goes on to tell him, come on then, what happened to that serious tone of yours? Not winning as easily as you thought? And as the two only then begin to go back and forth in this battle, Gogeta only then went along to reply, you're going to burn out faster than me, Potara. Just you wait and see, because this battle now is getting so intense that Whis himself even confirmed that not only is planet Earth shaking under the pressure of this battle, but the entire 7th universe as well. As only then Kaioken Vegito begins to cock his fist back as he went along to then tell Gogeta, I was toying with you this entire time. I wanted to see the full extent of what made you so different, and now that I know, I'm done playing these games. Let's see how you respond after I knock your head off your body with this one. Kaioken isn't just an increase, it's a survival switch. Once it's turned on, there's no going back. And now I'm going to end this for good, as Kaioken Vegito ends up hitting Gogeta with such tremendous force that one can make the argument in saying that this was one of the most devastating shots that Vegito had given Gogeta up until this very current point in time, which causes Gogeta to be sent flying out into the distance with Vegito pursuing him. He only then went as far as to mock Gogeta and telling him, it hurts, doesn't it? That's payback for the attacks you dished out on me before. What happened to your evolution power? Don't tell me that this is all you can do, Mighty Fusion. I'm not finished with you yet. Get over here. And with Gogeta quickly recovering, he ended up firing a blast directly at Vegito and telling him, enough of this. And with the blast having to go right through Vegito because Vegito ended up teleporting just in the nick of time to escape, he only then continued to mock Gogeta and telling him, too slow, chump. Not even close. As only then Vegito ends up teleporting behind Gogeta and kicking him directly in the spine, as Vegito only then went along to tell him, and here's another one. Does it remind you of anything? Sucks getting hit from behind when you're caught off guard now, doesn't it? So this harpens back to when Gogeta had done the exact same thing to Vegito in getting payback for what Gogeta had done prior, and with Gogeta having to flip himself from hitting the ground, he only then went along to comment, damn him, before bouncing right back and charging directly back at Vegito. He only then went along to follow, this is not over, I'm not finished yet. So keep in mind, this is a maxed out Gogeta and maxed out Vegito by using Kaioken and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, literally beating each other down to a pulp. As Gogeta ends up swooping on in, he retaliates by attempting to kick Vegito, but with Vegito having to be on guard, Gogeta went along to then tell him, just because you've gained a momentary lead does not mean that you have the slightest chance of putting me down. And right as Gogeta connects a monstrous kick to Vegito, he only then follows by unleashing a massive energy blast from point blank range, as he went along to then tell him, your foolish arrogance is what blinds you from your true power. As only then with Gogeta having to look behind him, he then followed by commenting no, because he wasn't expecting for Vegito to actually endure and survive these attacks. As Vegito ends up coming out of nowhere, he follows through by then kicking Gogeta out in the distance again, with Vegito then going along and commenting, you were too slow once again. What was that? Something something about arrogance? It's funny to see you talk as if you know everything there is to know about me when you can barely even keep up with me now. So in a nutshell, when comparing the boost that Kaioken gives you versus Super Saiyan Blue evolution, it would appear that Vegito is more used to his Kaioken abilities than Gogeta is with Super Saiyan Blue evolution, and that right there is giving Vegito the momentary edge over Gogeta, even though Gogeta is blatantly pointing out that Vegito's biggest problem is his arrogance because it seems to blind him from the truth, and it also seems to blind him from using his true power. As Gogeta is then sent flying out into the distance, Beerus then goes on to tell Whis, it seems like Vegito is winning, Whis. This Kaioken stuff really helped him in the long run. Gogeta doesn't seem to be in control anymore. And as Gogeta braces himself, he goes on to then comment, enough! I wasn't really expecting to be in this situation like this, but he's winning. I have to find his weakness before he either beats me or time runs out. I didn't want to go Kaioken because I knew what it does to the body, but it seems like he has more control over it. I'm left with no other choice. As he then continues, he's overworking himself, and it seems to be working, which means if I were to beat him, I'd need to let him burn himself out. But if I were to do that, then he could ultimately double down and increase even more and wear me down. There has to be an endpoint to his power. If all else fails, then I'm going to be left with no other option than to do what I nearly did to Broly and finish him off with my most powerful attack, which would also put me at risk in defusing much faster if it doesn't end up working in my favor. It's all or nothing, but if I were to tap into that power, can it be done? So Gogeta is plotting something. He wants to see if he could finish off Vegito by doing the exact same thing he did against Broly and assumingly fire a massive divine Kamehameha to finish the job. But as soon as Gogeta is trying to figure things out, Vegito comes swooping on in again, as he only then ends up kicking Gogeta back out into the distance as he went along to tell him, stop trying to stall for time, before dashing right back at Gogeta and telling him, I know what you're trying to do, as he only then ends up striking Gogeta so hard that he is only then literally sent hurtling down onto the ground and telling him, and I won't let you do it. You have no chance against what I am now, so give up or be destroyed. And with Gogeta hitting the ground with such tremendous force, we can only see now that Vegito does have the edge over Gogeta, and it's because of this very reason that makes Vegito so arrogant in this battle, as only then we observe how Vegito puts his hands together and then having to tell Gogeta, it's been fun. But like all good things, they must come to an end. I'm sure you know what I'm about to do. Now let's see how you respond. And now for the final move. This is the end for you. Final Kame. So Vegito is charging up for a massive final Kamehameha, and with Gogeta emerging from the smoke and the dust, he then went along to comment, so that's what you're doing. Fine. Let this be our final stand. Big Bang Kamehameha. So both of them are beginning to charge up for their most powerful attacks, with Vegito charging up for the final Kamehameha and Gogeta charging up for the Big Bang Kamehameha. It is only right then and there where we get to see both Vegito and Gogeta fire their most powerful attacks in a stunning fashion, because this is a final Kamehameha backed up by Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, and in retrospect this is a Big Bang Kamehameha backed up by Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, as only then we get to see how both attacks are literally about to collide, as Beerus went along to comment, have they lost their minds, Whis? They'll destroy the entire universe. This is getting annoying. I'm about to end this myself. As Whis intervenes, he only then goes on to tell Beerus, I wouldn't be too worried, my lord. They both seem to know what they're doing, so there's no need to get involved, because something special is about to take place. As he only then continues, you'll just have to wait and see. Although they seem to want to end it, I sense something deeper. One of them still has something to prove, and whoever survives this will likely be that person. I'd sit back and watch. These fusion warriors have much more left. As Beerus goes on to smirk, he then went along to comment, they better not fail. I want to see everything they have. Beerus then went along to comment, they better not get carried away, Whis. As we go back to the fusions, Vegito then went along to comment, damn him, our attacks are completely even. It's barely getting through. I need to push him to his breaking point, otherwise we're going to be here doing this forever. Because Vegito further confirms that the final Kamehameha and the Big Bang Kamehameha seemingly enough are even, because neither one of the fusions are getting ground on the other, as Gogeta went along to respond, I wasn't expecting this much power to come from him. My attack isn't budging while his is pushing down. There has to be a way to get him. So both fusions seem to also remind me of the classic Dragon Ball Z Goku and Vegeta beam struggle that we've seen during the Saiyan arc, as only then we get to observe how both fusions seem to really be pouring a lot of their energy into their own attack to get the better of the other fusion. As Whis went along to comment, I hope it was worth the chaos, my lord. They're both giving it all they have to finish the others. So Gogeta's pushing up, Vegito's pushing down, and as we go back to the fusions struggling, Vegito went along to comment, I'm not giving up, as Gogeta replies, and I won't lose to you. Which, in a nutshell, it's interesting to see how neither fusion wants to give up, because they assume that they have the necessary power in order to get the job done against the other, and with Vegito having to be shown slightly being pushed back, he only then went along to comment, it's being pushed. The Kaioken is starting to affect my body. It's being pushed back by him. I have no other choice than to use everything I have. It's overtaking my attack. I need more power. I never thought I'd ever do this, but I have no choice. Kaioken times 100! So this is a first, because we've never seen Kaioken be used in Dragon Ball Super outside of Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, and with Vegito admitting that Kaioken is getting the better of his body and breaking him down bit by bit, he also realizes that there is an opening that he could capitalize on in defeating Gogeta with, so he's putting all of his chips on the table in maximizing possibly the highest form of Kaioken someone can, and use that to his advantage, as he only then proceeds to pour more of his power into this attack. He only then goes on to cry out, full power! With Vegito's final Kamehameha having to be shown pushing down on Gogeta, and with Gogeta having to be shown shaking, he went along to then comment, what power! I never thought he could ever go that high. I can't hold it anymore. It's too much. I'm losing ground. It's going to overtake me, because this is it. If Gogeta doesn't turn the tables around now, then he's ultimately going to be obliterated by the end of this battle, and with Gogeta having to be shown literally shaking, he only then went along to comment, it's too much. I can't hold it back anymore. I can't lose. I have to dig deeper, but I'm not sure if I can. I need more. I haven't come this far to fail now. No matter what the odds are, I can't lose. I won't lose. I need that power again. The power beyond the gods, as only then momentarily we observe how Gogeta's eyes and his eyebrows, his hair, everything then changes to a silverish whitish color, with Gogeta having to then be shown pouring so much of his power into his Big Bang Kamehameha that essentially the force of this initial attack is so strong that it's easily able to overtake Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 100 Vegito's final Kamehameha with complete ease, as Gogeta went along to then scream out, this is our ultimate power, to where only then we get to see how the final Kamehameha is completely overtaken, as Vegito went along to comment, what? Where did that power just come from? It's coming right at me. There's no way to counter that attack now. It's going to consume me, damn him. And with the Big Bang Kamehameha then having to be shown quickly approaching Vegito, he was then left with no other choice in forcing himself to use instant transmission, as Vegito only then went along to comment, now's my only chance, because if he somehow doesn't escape this attack, then it's either only going to result in Vegito having to be completely disintegrated by this attack, or the attack is going to do so much damage to him that he's essentially going to end up defusing and losing the battle entirely. But only then when going back to Gogeta, we observe a very familiar aura, a very familiar hairstyle, as only then Beerus went along to comment, Whis, that power, could it really be? Did they both just learn to tap into this power at will? As Whis responded, it came as a response, my lord, but yes, it is. They did it, as Beerus comments, and there it is. The power of Ultra Instinct, to where Gogeta is shown standing there in all his glory with his aura emanating and really looking like an absolute badass, as Whis only then went along to tell Beerus, I wasn't expecting for them to do this either, my lord, but together, they are nearly limitless in power. Vegito couldn't handle this kind of pressure. Smart of him to move, in basically acknowledging the fact that if Vegito did not move out of the way, then that would have spelled major disaster for that particular fusion, and with Gogeta having to be shown standing there eerily quiet, he slowly then turns behind him as he went along to comment, "I found you," as moments later, out of nowhere, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 100 Vegito appears, to where as quickly as he did, Vegito attempted to attack Gogeta, but Gogeta is so fast that he quickly moved out of the way as Vegito went along to respond, "I'm not finished with you yet. My power can outlast yours in every way. Don't think you've won so easily. I'm still in this fight." And as he acknowledges the fact that Gogeta was so easily able to move out of the way, he only then continues, "What? He's gone, but how?" As seconds later Gogeta appears and so casually ends up hitting Vegito so far out into the distance that Vegito went along to respond, "God, what the?" As he's trying to brace himself while still holding his ground, Beerus only then went along to tell Whis, "Did you just see that, Whis? He was so fast that I barely even kept up with that. One punch and Vegito looks hurt. Amazing." Which really isn't outside of the realm of possibility for Mastered Ultra Instinct to get the better of a hypothetical Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 100 fusion, and with Vegito acknowledging this, he then went along to comment, "It can't be, not this way, no." And with Vegito crashing on down to the ground, all of a sudden, his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken transformation suddenly disappears, as he went along to comment, "I can't hold it anymore," which basically confirms the idea that Kaioken had broken Vegito down so much so that not only could he not hold on to the form any longer, but he's also right now at this current point in time fighting against a superior fusion, especially while having Mastered Ultra Instinct under their disposal. And with Gogeta acknowledging this, he only then went along to tell Vegito, "It looks like you've used up all of your power by pushing yourself to extremely dangerous measures. Your body could not hold something that you weren't used to doing." As Vegito went along to respond, "Well, this wasn't fair. I didn't think you'd go as far as to use Ultra Instinct on me like that. You managed to tap into it at the last second. Ironic. Aren't you breaking the rules by doing that? We could have done it too." As Gogeta went along to respond, "There's no such rule to break when you're fighting for victory. There are no rules to a fight. It's win or lose. Besides, this transformation can only last me for about a few more minutes. It's a power we aren't used to either." So Vegito thinks that without Gogeta consenting to using this power, is he only cheating by doing this, because Vegito also goes on to tell Gogeta that they could have tapped into this power as well, but Gogeta managed to do it at the very last second. And with Vegito overhearing this, he then went along to respond, "Huh, is that so? Well, that's a shame then, but whatever, that was cheap." As he then stands up, he only then continues, "I could have beaten you if you didn't pull that off, but I still had fun. I haven't fought anyone like you before, so consider yourself very lucky. You even twisted my shoulder a bit thanks to you. How annoying. But just for the record, this isn't over between us. Now that I know, the next time we fight, all bets are going to be off. I lost this time, but don't count on beating me again. I'm definitely going to win and beat you next time." And with Gogeta then having to be shown stepping away from Ultra Instinct, he then went along to respond, "We'll see," with Vegito then having to tell him, "What if there was more time? It won't be long now before we both defuse and our forms are undone, so how about we have our rematch right here, right now, instead of waiting? Sound good?" And with Gogeta being caught off guard, he only then went along to tell him, "Given how we currently are? Fine. Alright then, you're right. You ready?" Because with Vegito wanting to go through with this rematch, they're not looking to waste any time, especially with the assumption that they're both about to defuse, as Gogeta went along to ask, "Shall we do this right here, right now, Potara, or should we wait until we fuse again?" As Vegito went along to respond, "Why wait? There's no telling when we'll be able to do this again, and I'm not really the patient type. If I knew you'd use Ultra Instinct, I would have responded accordingly, but let's not waste any more time and do this. So it was Vegito's original idea that he wanted to go on ahead and commence with a rematch right away, considering the fact that he felt as if Gogeta wasn't being fair by using Ultra Instinct, but now that Vegito knows, he's calling for a rematch because he wants to see if he could defeat Gogeta now that he knows that he's able to tap into Ultra Instinct. As we then go back to Beerus and Whis, Beerus went along to then comment, so the fusion dance wins. It's interesting how they were able to use the power of Ultra Instinct as a last resort to beat the Potara fusion. This was a very good fight, Whis. As Whis went along to respond, "It sure was, my lord. I'm glad you were able to enjoy yourself at the expense of Goku and Vegeta's fusion fight." Until then, out of nowhere, Whis then suddenly realizes something as he goes on to comment, "Hold on now. Now I see what's going on. I figured this would have happened. Lord Beerus, there is something I must attend to with the fusions. I am going to consult them for a moment. I will be right back. I need to inform them on something that they are both unaware of, so this will only take about a minute." As Beerus went along to respond, "This better be good." As we only then go back to Vegito and Gogeta, Gogeta went along to then ask Vegito, "Say, Potara warrior, do you notice anything strange between us?" As Vegito then looks at his hands, he then goes on to reply, "Other than you cheating by using Ultra Instinct, I do. Our bodies feel different. This feels strange. It's been quite a while now since we fused, but yet we're still fused together. We are supposed to defuse by now, but yet we haven't. Why? I still feel as if I have lots of power left within me, but yet after all that, our bodies are still intact. This feels different than the times we've used the Potara earrings before." As Gogeta also then went along to comment, "I feel it too. Our body feels different than usual, and being that we use Ultra Instinct, we were supposed to defuse minutes ago, but yet I could still feel myself holding back lots of power. Your fusion should also have burnt out after us, but yet we aren't separated, so something strange is going on considering the fact that both fusions seem to acknowledge that they were both supposed to defuse minutes ago, but for some strange reason, they seem to be intact and their fusions are still whole." As only then Whis ends up arriving on the battlefield as he went along to tell them, "Now I know what you might be thinking, and I just remembered that I needed to tell you both one very important thing, which is why you are both wondering as to why you haven't defused. Now, the technique that Vegito's son had used just now has a different effect on your fusion than before. Normally, a stunt like that would have resulted in you defusing seconds after using it, but since I evened your time to make it fair, your body adapted. And due to this effect, no matter how long you use it, it won't cause you to defuse." With Vegito then quickly turning around, he then went along to comment, "You're not joking, are you? Alright, that's perfect. Thanks, Whis." As Gogeta went along to comment, "Wait, hold on a minute. That's not fair at all. How is that right?" As Whis went along to respond, "Now I wouldn't worry if I were you, Gogeta-san. This applies to the fusion you are using as well, so because of your Super Saiyan Blue evolution power increase, this effect allows you to also remain as you are without defusing. It shouldn't cause you to defuse so as long as the timer effect for both of your fusions is in effect, which means you both can use whatever you'd like without burning out, so you're both safe." Which ultimately means that Whis had allowed it to where Gogeta and Vegito can use power increases such as Kaio-ken and even Super Saiyan Blue evolution without the risk of them having to defuse, given the overall fact that power increases like that tend to burn out the time that the fusion holds, or at least so it's assumed. So in a nutshell, Whis had allowed it to where both fusions are evenly balanced and both fusions can use whatever power they would like without the risk of having to defuse a lot quicker than the other. And with the fusions acknowledging this, Vegito then went along to comment, "So we can go as far as we'd like then. Would you look at that?" As Gogeta replies, "So by using massive amounts of power, it won't cause us to defuse like we normally would." And with Vegito looking down on his hand, he only then went along to comment, "Well then, since you put it that way. As he only then went along to clench his fist, he then replies, "Let's finish this." As Gogeta went along to reply, "Just so you know, now that I know I can't defuse, I don't plan on holding back anymore. I'm going to use everything against you." As this prompts Vegito in transforming into a Super Saiyan, he only then went along to reply, "As will I. If you think Kaioken times 100 was my highest, wait until I push myself even further beyond that. Your Ultra Instinct won't work this time." With both fusions acknowledging the fact that they do have some time remaining, and given this time factor, they can actually increase their power to any lengths they choose to do so without the risk of defusing, and the first person to actually lay it all down is Vegito, as he went along to further tell Gogeta, "No matter what it is you do, I'm going to show you a power far beyond Kaioken times 100 now that I know that I have no risk of defusing." But even then, when going back to Beerus then went along to comment, "Ugh, are they planning to continue their fight or not? I want to see more of what they can do, especially if they plan to use Ultra Instinct as a weapon of choice. So hurry up, I'm getting bored, and I hate waiting around. Maybe it's time for me to go back home since I already have an idea of what these warriors can do in a fight. Unless they fight now, I'm leaving. Wait." As he then spots something all of a sudden, he then goes on to continue, "Come to think of it, where do those two kids run off to? They were just here a minute ago and now they're gone. Strange. I could also sense an unusual presence here as well. Could it be because the boys were with Beerus just a minute ago in watching their fathers fight, and now, all of a sudden, they're gone?" But even then, when going back to Gogeta and Vegito, we get to see how they're both in fighting position, as Vegito went along to comment, "Okay," with Gogeta telling him, "Go for it." As they both leap towards one another's direction, they both then went along to shout out, "Let's finish this once and for all." So they both still have tremendous amounts of power left. They both seem to want to settle this now once and for all, and with the fusions then having to make physical contact and knocking one another away, all of a sudden there is a voice that then cries out, "Hey you! That's enough!" With Beerus having to acknowledge this, he spots two people on the battlefield as he went along to comment, "Oh no." As Whis also comments, "Well, this isn't good. They're in trouble." As we then get to see how two pairs of legs are standing over Gogeta and Vegito, Vegito then went along to comment, "Uh-oh, wait just a minute now." As Gogeta replies, "This isn't good." As only then standing across them do we have Bulma and Chi-Chi holding on to Goten and Trunks, infuriated, as Chi-Chi went along to shout, "I knew it! I was wondering where you were, and here you are training as usual. Did you really think you could get out of helping me around the house? Fusing and training with another you won't save you." As Bulma went along to also shout, "That goes for you too, Vegeta. For goodness sake, just what are you two doing? What a ridiculous battle you guys are involved in. And on top of that, you still have lots of things to do at home." With both Gogeta and Vegito having to be shown incredibly disappointed, Gogeta went along to then comment, "Oh no, just when things couldn't get any worse. This is a fight I don't think we can win, despite how strong we get." With Vegito commenting, "This is bad. Just what in the world are they even doing here? And how do they find us all the way out here?" As only then Goten and Trunks went along to comment, "Well, this really sucks, Trunks. We were so close." As Trunks comments, "I know. Now we'll never be able to use the Potaras to fuse like our dads. Can we?" And with their mothers having to shout, "No, you will not fuse like your dads," Vegito only then went along to chime in, "Well, I mean, I don't think it would be a bad idea. I think you should let them do it. Even for a little bit, it would be fun. We won't be long. It would be nice to see them fuse." As Chi-Chi went along to then shout at Vegito, "I don't care what you have to say. If I say no, then no means no." As Bulma also went along to question this, she went on to comment, "And why are you guys out here anyway? Why would you even come to a place like this to fight?" As Gogeta and Vegito went along to respond, "Well, you see, it's not our idea. You see, it was Beerus," but then as soon as they were gonna rat out Beerus, what Beerus ends up doing is swooping on in and literally pummeling Gogeta and Vegito across the head, because by no means does Beerus want to be scolded by Chi-Chi and Bulma, as he then went along to tell them, "Rat me out and I will eradicate your souls along with this entire planet quicker than you can imagine. The last thing I want to deal with is the mouth of your wives. This is your battle to settle, not mine." As Chi-Chi went along to comment, now which one of you is the Goku from this time? With Bulma also asking, you too Vegeta, ugh. Some things never change, as the narration goes on to tell us, and with that, the mightiest fusion warriors place their rematch on hold. The curtain closes as Goku and Vegeta defuse. For now, Beerus remains pleased, but the score remains to be settled between Gogeta and Vegito. Until they meet again, the heroic fusion battle closes its curtains for now, as only then the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Fusion What If manga then comes to a close. Now, this entire manga special was definitely something that the fandom had been wanting to see for such a long time, and although many people may have a bias in preferring one fusion over the other, I think that this fan manga really captured both fusions' personalities to the T, because with Vegito having to present a level of cockiness and with Gogeta having to resemble that of Fusion Reborn and even the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie in being the serious dominant fusion early on, until Vegito decided to really pour more energy into increasing his Kaio-ken and even going as far as to breaking his own body to prove a point. But by the end of all of this, I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below on whether or not you guys prefer Vegito more or Gogeta, and which fusion in your opinion do you believe is the superior fusion when it comes down to power, durability, speed, techniques, skill, and overall presentation when looking at what both fusions can offer from a serious standpoint. I want to get your thoughts and feedback down in the comment section below. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your time. If of course you guys enjoyed, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below. Also, hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel to never miss a single video posted, as well as being sure to check out and support the artist and creator of this fan manga, to where his link will be located down in the description box below. As a fan of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball fan mangas, I really enjoyed this fan manga only because we had a different dynamic be presented, to where both fusions were forced in fighting just for the sake of Beerus' entertainment. And ever since I was a kid, I've always preferred Vegito a tad bit more than Gogeta, but by the end, I'm satisfied by the end result of seeing what Gogeta was able to do, and I can only hope that one day someone is going to create another version of this by giving them either a rematch or including different versions of each character, perhaps maybe from Dragon Ball GT, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and things of that nature. But I really am satisfied to actually see Vegito versus Gogeta go down in a fan manga, because we've seen it go down in video games before, but never in the form of an actual manga. So again, thank you all so much for your time. Tune back in for the next video, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace. And a quick little reminder before you guys go, if you guys are unaware, I do have a second gaming channel located down in the description box below, so be sure to head on over to Unreal Royale and hit that subscribe button along with turning on all notifications, as to there you guys will find all different kinds of gaming content that you will not get to find on UnrealEntGaming, titles and video games such as Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Gears of War, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, Dragon Ball Z Legends, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, Minecraft, Blair Witch, and many other retro games on that channel. So if you guys are into gaming, then make sure you guys subscribe over on Unreal Royale. I want to thank you all so much for your time, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
Also follow UnrealEntGaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead! Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck, Zarbon? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes. Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Freezer.
Uh-oh.
Prepare to die!
But once you get video, lots of likes, or Bill will turn you into chocolate!
Vados, get over here! Tell these mortals that I'm the biggest UnrealEntGaming fan. This is my moment. I'm a part of his notification squad. Universe 7 can have all the fun. I just want the food.
And don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Show some love for the best community on YouTube.